Hey there, Wondering Watchers. Welcome to this tarot card reading made for true crime fans. This is another reading relating to the Idaho college student slayings. This reading in particular looks into why the murderer spared the lives of the two roommates. I read that their names are Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. They were in the house at the time of the murder, along with Kaylee's golden doodle-looking dog, Murphy, who is reportedly now in the possession of her ex-boyfriend, Jack. If you want more details about the students or the murders, the video of the energy reading I did on the murderer has that information, and the link is in the description box. For this reading on the surviving housemates, I'm questioning the killer's history with Bethany and Dylan before the night of the murders, the intentions the killer had for them during the murders, and the circumstances that led the killer to spare their lives. So, I'm gonna shuffle these up for a bit. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay out these cards. 3 for the history, 3 for the intentions that night, and 3 for the circumstances that led to them being spared. Okay, so interesting. So for the history, we have the 10 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, and the Hierophant. For the intentions that night, we have the 2 of Pentacles, the Moon, and Page of Wands. And the kind of circumstances that led to them being spared, we have the Knight of Wands, King of Wands, and 8 of Pentacles. So here with the 10 of Wands, it's kind of a gruesome scene, indicates, being betrayed, being murdered. And then the 10 of Wands, kind of a sense of trying to reach a very, a goal that is very difficult, requires a lot of ability to handle burdens, weights, stress. And then you have the Hierophant here, which is someone who kind of has learned the history, looked at the signs, look at how things connect together to set up certain traditions and rules. So in terms of the history that they have, it's almost as if maybe they don't have specific history with these surviving roommates, but that based on, perhaps what their goal was while they were in the house or who they wanted to kill, they knew that the longer they stayed in the house, there was more risk and more burden for them, and they could end up being caught stabbing themselves in the back. And maybe they had their own set of rules about things. when they went in, kind of, a plan of attack and like if-then scenarios. So here, in terms of their intentions, with the Two of Pentacles, it's kind of like juggling things, kind of having a lot of balls in the air and needing to pay attention to a certain way of doing things, performing things in a certain manner. With the Moon card, there is a lack of clarity and perhaps your imagination starts, running wild. With the Page of Wands here, there is a real desire to embrace expressing yourself, exploring your passions. So to some degree, their intentions for the roommates that night was kind of, I'll deal with it when it comes up, but really I have this goal and desire for this particular thing, and I'm going to spend my time with those things. And there are unknowns that will come up that I can't really, spend time on, or I can't negotiate more than what I already have my hands full with. And in terms of the considerations for why they are spared, with the Knight of Wands and King of Wands, it's really pursuing passions, being driven to follow that high, that thrill. And with the King of Wands here, you could see this person is being vigilant. They are kind of watching over their kingdom, ready to react. You've got these sharks in the background who, if you draw their attention, they'll come after you and attack. So it's as if they were prepared to, if the roommates intervened or got in the way, to, do something about it. But here it's as if they really wanted to spend time on, what they had planned for or worked on in the first place, the people that they did kill, and spending time on that. With the Eight of Pentacles here, this is a card of not just, it's usually a card of work and kind of putting your heart and soul into something. It's also about, working with others and collaborating, at least in this scene, how day-to-day things might seem boring or mundane, but somehow they all kind of are interconnected, and everyone has a role to play, type of thing. So here it's as if maybe the surviving roommates adds to that thrill, adds to, the role that they play is someone who kind of slipped through the cracks, but it's almost as if it lingers on. Them surviving kind of lingers on for the killer as a reminder of what they could have done if they wanted to, and kind of creates that ongoing fear. So I think it's interesting that we have the 10 of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Wands. There's this like fiery energy when it's really not well controlled. It can just turn into just a blaze of anger. So to some degree, it might be that there's focus of anger on the individuals that were murdered and not those who were spared. So let's see about some clarifications. I'm going to take a look at that 10 of Swords. We have the Sun here. So here, this is about, compared to the Moon, this is about happiness, clarity. So it seems like the killer was intending to, get out of this, hoping to get out of this. And, it does seem like if they were going to go down, everyone was going to go down. But here it kind of indicates they were aware that was a possibility, but not a focus. With the 10 of Wands, we have the Judgment card. So recognizing that there's a lot of moving factors going on, and if they were going to succeed in what they wanted to do, they had to not do everything that they could in terms of murdering every living soul in that house. They had to let go of certain things that just weren't their main concern. And with the Hierophant, you have the 8 of Cups here. So it seems like the fact that all the roommates, all the people in the house were sleeping at the time the murders occurred, it's as if this Hierophant was kind of banking that the way that maybe that they were planning on killing the people, the surviving roommates would still be asleep. Like they had maybe kind of told themselves, if they're asleep by the time I get done with these main people, then I'm just going to leave. So let's take a look at the 2 of Pentacles here. You have the Hanged Man, and this is kind of a card of sacrifice, surrender, being still, which is kind of like the opposite of the 2 of Pentacles. So it's kind of giving me this image of someone who is, has a plan, is moving through the house, is kind of pausing every now and then, trying to listen to things, trying to see, things, and deciding to keep going or not. So let's take a look at the Moon card. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So, I'm assuming it's dark in the house while they were killing people. in their sleep. And with the Wheel of Fortune, there is that concept of change. So it's as if they had to really try to trust their intuition, kind of like trust their intuition and know that they might have to change the situation while they're there, or change their plan of attack while they're there. Let's see about the Page of Wands. Well, these two wanted to come out. Have the Nine of Wands and Ace of Pentacles. The Nine of Wands is someone who has been preparing, someone who has been putting in their energy, is doing things carefully and thoughtfully, and still moving on, being prepared. With the Ace of Pentacles, this is like a new opportunity for them, something, a treasure. And with this Page of Wands, it's kind of as if the intention of killing the people that were killed was what they were prepared for, planning for. And to some degree, it seems like the surviving roommates were deal with them if they come up, but not a main target. So let's take a look at this Knight of Wands over here for kind of like the circumstances that contributed to them surviving. We have the Page of Cups, and that is like a childlike imagination, possibly some immaturity. So they were really enjoying, or knew they would be enjoying, the people, that they were killing, or really following that direction. What about the King of Wands? We have the Four of Pentacles, and this is kind of about stability, kind of doing what you kind of need to do at the moment. And in this picture, this mermaid is just brushing their hair, because that's what you do. That's what you do with the brush. You brush your hair, and you just kind of have that as your base, your foundation. So to me, it's as if there was kind of fixed points that they expected to see and expected to happen, and they were kind of paying attention to whether those roommates were waking up, but that fixed point just didn't change, so there was no need to kind of do anything. There was no need to kind of go after the roommates. So let's take a look at the Eight of Pentacles. Have the Two of Wands, and this is a card of planning, preparing. You can see the volcano about to blow its top. So to me, with this kind of like this Eight of Pentacles, it could be that they're planning on going after the roommates later, or it's basically they had a backup plan. Kind of if they needed to, they would move out of their comfort zone and kind of go after those roommates if need be. So this is what I have for now. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay on your toes and take care.